To make a Google form, we're going to take this template that Maria created, and then we're going to export all the questions to the Google form. How do you do that? We're going to come into the folder that is already going to be the one where the Google form is going to go. Right click, we select Google Form, Create and Share. So we create the form by clicking just on Create Form. Then in here, we're going to give it a title, Staff CPL. And this form is going to help us get all the information from the staff that we were initially going to do through a PDF. And then in the description, we're going to copy the introduction. So we've now copied our description, which is the introduction of and the instructions of the information that we're going to collate from all the staff. And we're then going to go into our questions. Okay, so we're going to choose what kind of question we want. I think the first one was a table, so we're going to do a multiple choice grid. This is the type of question that you would be transferring to a multiple choice grid. So now we're going to decide which ones are the rows and which ones are the columns. So in the rows, we've got brain development, learning through play, etc. And in the columns, we've got confidence, not very confident, a bit confident, quite confident, very confident. So that is what we want to transfer over. Okay, so we have now entered all our lines and then our 4 columns, and we have a multiple choice grid here. If we want to see what it looks like, so obviously we need to enter in here the instructions of the question. So we're going to go back and have a look, prompting people to rate their own confidence at all those different topics. How confident do you feel about the below? And then we're going to click preview. And in there, you can see that we've got the introduction with instructions. And then in here, staff can choose how they feel about that. Okay, so we go back to continuing the form, and then we include a new question. To add a new question, we click the plus button, and then in there we're going to continue. The next one is a reflection question, and so we want a short paragraph as the type of question, a paragraph, and we simply type in there the question. And if we want to add a prompt, we can also add an image here on the side. You can add an image, you can add a YouTube video, or you can also divide your form into sections. And in here, you would put the title and the description of your form. And this option is for importing questions, but that would be a separate video. Anyway, so we enter our question here, and then we continue to see how that goes. Okay, so we've now entered the full text of the question. We don't have to do anything else, but what we want to do is click on required, because that way they cannot leave the question unanswered and submit. So we're going to do that. We can also go to the settings and make it default, question defaults, make all questions required by default. And that actually is very, very helpful, because that means that as soon as you create a question, the next one is also going to be required for you automatically, and you don't have to do anything or think about it or remember. Now, next question. Think about the roles of others in your professional practice, etc., etc. So in this one, we're going to do again a short paragraph answer type of question. You can also copy it. If it's the same one, you can copy it, and then you can also move them across if you don't need it there, or if you think that it would be better in a different order. So for the next questions, they are the same type of questions, but we're going to create a different section. So we go back here, and in here, we're going to create a section, And we're going to call the section, what was it? Caring and responsive relationships. So that's for that section. And now inside that section, we will add a question. Then the question that we need is again a paragraph question, and we want it to be required, but we don't need to worry about that anymore. So that's it. Now, if in between we want to add a picture or a meme or something to make it a little bit more animated, we can do so here. Remember, we can add a video, a photo, some text, etc. Okay, so the last question is a little table. So we're going to have to change the format a little bit. And what we're going to do is, because it's goal setting, so we've created a different section called goal setting. And what we're going to do is identify the 3 goals from your reflection above. As you can see in the form, that was pretty much what this first section was asking, transfer over the 3 goals. So we're going to go over to the form, and then the first and second questions are identifying goals, and then identifying causes or activities or what can you do to achieve the goals above. And then the next question is going to be add question, and then we're going to do a linear scale. We're going to ask people to tell us how urgently they're going to achieve the goals that they've set for themselves. So we're going to ask for 3, and we're going to ask or give them number 5 is going to be an urgency of within a year, and number 1 is going to be within this month. Within this month. And then we will do the same for goals 1, 2, and 3 by clicking the duplicate button. And now we're going to do duplicate, the same thing for goal 2, and then duplicate again, the same thing for goal 3. As you can see, all 3 areas of this table have been brought over to the Google form. Now, this is what our final product looks like. Over here, we've got the introduction. Then over here, we've got that little table. And then we've got some short answers. So we're just going to do that. We're just going to fill it in nice and quickly. Because remember, we need to answer everything because otherwise it won't let us submit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fill everything real quick. And then I'm going to show you what happens with the information. This is the second section. Again, next. Again, we fill it out. Again, filling it out. And we then submit. Okay, so there has the form being filled out. Now, to see the results, I'm going to come back to my drive and the folder where I created the form. So, stuff CPL. And so I'm going to go into the form, and in here, I'm going to go into responses. Then you can see that there is one response there, and you can see what information has come through here. However, if you want to manipulate the data, what you can do is get the form to automatically create a new spreadsheet, and we're going to call it staff CPL. And then every time somebody submits a new answer, the answer will appear in your answers here in the form, but also you'll be able to access it through this sheet, and then the information is going to come here. The reason this is useful and important is because then here we can create other sort of rules that will help us identify trends and needs that the staff have, and also ways to analyze the information and take it further. One of the really, really important things to know is that when you want to, there are 2 ways to share the forms. I can share a form with you so that you can edit the form just like you would edit a Google Doc. In that case, I would go in here and I would just click the link or go in here and add a collaborator. If what I want to do is send the form to staff so that staff answers, I need to click send. And then from this send, I want to copy the URL, and then I will send to you that URL, or to the staff. So in this case, we're going to put it in their staff collaboration boards so that they can complete the form. Let's go here. Let's share it with Cecilia, for example. And then in here, we add a card, and then we put the form, and then we tell her that's urgent, and then Cecilia needs to fill it in. Due date, we can set a due date. Today's the 29th, so let's set a due date by the 7th. Okay, and then she needs to fill in that form by then.